Alright, so in this video, for those that are watching, I'm just trying to show you guys how I go about mixing my beat or instruments, because people have been asking me this question in the comments for quite some time now. So people have been asking me how to mix instruments, because my videos basically are focused more on vocals. So people keep asking on how I mix my instruments. So I decided to just do a quick live video so that I can quickly show you guys my approach when it comes to mixing instruments. So just make sure that you stick around and let's just see if you can pick up one or two things. Alright, so just comment if you can hear my voice. Alright. Hope you guys are doing great. Maxwell, can you get me? Can you get my voice? So today I just want to go through my approach on how to balance instruments, or maybe let's just say a beat, something like that, because people have been asking questions on how to do it. Alright, cool. If you can get me, that's cool. So I'm just trying to show you guys my approach on how I approach, just a quick way of how I approach my instruments, mixing instruments. So mostly what happens is I receive projects like this, because me personally, I know how to make beats, but I don't make beats. Mostly I just mix. So I receive stems, like beat stems. Somebody will just make a quick beat, then they'll send me together with the vocals, then I'll come and mix everything here. So if you take a look at what I have in this project, I've got beat stems on top here, and some vocals down here. So if you can look at this, I've got a kick. Let me just try to zoom in a bit so I can do this. Alright, so we've got some, this is the hook, these are vocals down here, and we've got a beat stems up here. So I'm just going to be showing you a quick way or my approach on how I do everything. So I don't know if I should get started now or what, but yeah. So alright, I think we should just get started. Okay. So let's just first listen to the entire, let's just listen to the beat and then we get started. I'll show you how the first steps, how I arrange everything, how I balance everything until I reach the point where I start touching the vocals. So let me just switch on the beat stems only without the vocals, then just play a little bit of what's here. So by the way, this can apply to any type of beat. You can approach any type of beat just like this. I think let's just get started. So the first thing that I want us to do is, first of all, try to close it like that. You see that I can close it and I can mute the entire thing here. And I'm going to do the same thing for vocals. So I'll create a folder for vocals. So this will be vocal stems. You can call these folders whatever it is that you want to call them, as long as you can it helps you identify these things. And then I'll drop the vocals into this folder. So for the vocals, I'm simply going to close this folder because I'm not dealing with vocals, and I'll make sure that I just mute the vocals like that. I remain with the beat, and what I like to do is give the beat a color. So I'll simply, let me try to check my settings. Is everybody getting a bad picture quality or something? Please let me know in the chat. Can you guys see properly? Just let me know in the chat. Let me know if you can see properly in the chat. How is the picture quality for everybody? Is the picture quality okay or not? Maxwell, has the picture quality been bad from the beginning of the video, or it keeps changing? Please let me know. Does it keep changing or it's the same? Alright, so you can comment in the chat in case of anything. So right here, what I like to do is, like I said, go to the master first and add a plugin to just monitor the level of our mix. So in this case, I'm going to add a plugin called MV Meter. So this is just a metering plugin that helps me monitor the level of my mix, the peak level of my mix. So I'll just put it somewhere here, and what I'm going to do is just solo the kick, or maybe before that I'm just going to grab everything in here and drop the volume of everything, just everything, drop the volume of the beat, and just make sure that I'm not going above -6 dB. So I'm going to grab all the Alright, so if you take a look at the meter here, I've reduced all the stems of the beat. So now what we have is we are playing somewhere below -6 dB right here. We're not clipping, the entire mix is not clipping. Alright, so this is a good way to start mixing your beat. Already you've got a lot of headroom. So what I like to do first is listen to the beat and just try to identify if there's anything that I can see that's really popping out, or something that's not in place, something that I can simply just identify by listening to say, okay, this is too much. So I'll listen to this. Alright, so from what I can hear here, there's really nothing that I can point out to say this is popping out too much or anything. So at this point, I'm just going to get started with this and just make sure that I make sure all the instruments have space. I make sure I create space for all the instruments, and I'll make sure that I listen to almost each instrument or each sample so that I know if it actually sounds how I want it to sound or as clean as instruments, just to organize them like that. So if you take a look at this, okay, so what I'm trying to do is my drum set, I'll take my drums up and then my instruments below. So this is a drum, I'll put it somewhere here, maybe after my snare, and it comes in almost halfway the mix, so I'll deal with that. And I've got my piano down here, my other piano, and these other things here. So I think it's okay now. So now I'm going to just solo the kick and then just listen to what it sounds like, isolated like this. Alright, so from what I can hear, this kick isn't so punchy. Like, it doesn't sound it doesn't have that punchiness in it. So there are a lot of ways you can do this. You can try to get an EQ and do cut off some of the low end and boost, cut off some of the high, but I like to use this plugin right here. This plugin by Waves, it's called Shapes. So the Shapes 73 is basically just an EQ with a number of other with a preamp section down here. So this is basically just an EQ. We've got the high, the mid, the low, and stuff like that. But I like to go and start with a preset for my kick. There's a preset called kick on this plugin, so I'll just click that, and then I'll listen to this without the plugin, and then after you see the difference that it makes. So I like to put it here because it adds a little bit of punch into my kick, and this is a good way to start. So I'll bypass the plugin, then when I switch it on, So you can see the difference when it comes to the kick. So the kick hits a little bit harder and it's a little bit contained. It's not breaking and all that stuff. It's just in one place. You see what it sounds like when I bypass it. Alright, so that sounds great for me when it comes to the kick. So I'll simply just, I think, leave this plugin for now. Then I'll move on to my bass. Let me just try to listen to my bass. So I'll solo the bass. Okay, so when it comes to the bass, I think I also want it to be a little bit contained. So I'll do the same. I'm going to add the same plugin. So I use this plugin a lot. I can use other things, but I've just come to realize that with this plugin, I have quite a number of good results when I use it. So I'll try to use to look for a preset here about or under bass here and see which one can work for me. So I'll try the first one. That hearing some part of the bass. So I think I'll leave it at that point. Then maybe let's set the slope to 24. And again, because from my speakers I can tell that it feels like it's breaking, so I'm just trying to make it sound a little bit clean. So what I'll do is use this feature by Pro Q3 where I can hold the spectrum, then it will show me some of the things that are kind of popping out. So what I'll do is play this and do that. So you can see how much of the low part of the bass I'm trying to cut off. So it's basically not about what it looks like on the EQ, but what it sounds like. So you can bypass and switch the EQ on just to listen to what it sounds like. So I think it sounds a little bit okay. I think I like it. It sounds a bit clean, just a little bit. Then I'll come back to it maybe later on. And yes, you can apply these settings to any type of music. You can apply these settings to any type of music. You can approach. This is exactly how I approach almost any type of song. So you can approach any type of song to this. And I'm not saying apply the exact settings to your song. I'm just trying to let you know that understand my approach and why I'm making every single decision. So like I've done with the EQ, why I've decided to do this is because I felt like the bass was breaking a little bit. I wanted it to be more clean and more punchy in the mix. So now let me play this with the kick. Add sidechain, then I'm going to go to kick, so I'll click on kick and I'll activate it here, then open this sidechain section, then click on external. I remove this from auto right here. I remove the gain from auto, I don't really need that. Then I'll just play and see if I can have like a at least below -3 dB reduction. So you can see what's going on. Every time the kick comes in, it kind of ducks the bass here. So you can play around with the threshold to just kind of get a reasonable amount of reduction so that it's not too noticeable in the. So I'm responding to the comment by TheMg. You can just follow through, and after this I think I'll leave this live stream on the channel. You can kind of come back and go through, and then also for those for all these plugins that I'm using here, I've put the links in the description. I think you guys can check them out. If you don't have the plugins, you can check the links in the description. And then another thing, for those that wish to support the channel and just make sure that we continue making these videos, I don't know how this works, but I've got super stickers, super chat activated somewhere there. I don't know if you can see a $sign or something. I don't know so much how it works, but I don't know. You can try it out. So let's get going. Alright, so we've done the kick and the bass here. We can move on to the snare right here. So I'll switch on the snare. Alright, so let's solo the snare and just listen to what it sounds like. Okay, let's try to see if we can find a preset for a snare. So this is the snare here. It sounds okay, but maybe just to make sure that it's clean enough. Alright, so let's listen to this with the kick and the bass. Then I've just reduced a bit of the snare's volume, and I feel like the kick is hitting too much, so I can reduce the volume too, and I just need to keep in mind that I also have to keep in mind that the maximum peak is supposed to be -6 like we set it. So if I start going off my limit here, I can just come back here and just try to reduce the volumes of maybe the bass and the kick, just balance them as I go. Okay, I think that sounds okay. Then I'm going to move on to the hi-hat here. Let me first listen to it without everything else. Okay, so I think they sound okay, but I feel like I should just make them a little bit bright. So I don't know what EQ I can use. Let's try SSL EQ. So I'm using the stereo version of this. Let us also find if we can get a starting point. This hi-hat here. Okay, I think that sounds great. So you can see how it pops in the mix now. Yeah, that's good. Then maybe let me just push this a little bit more for the low filter. Okay, that sounds good. So you can see what happens when I switch off the plugin. The hi-hat goes down into the mix, and when I switch it on, it pops up like that. So it's a little bit clean, and it's given some kind of character. So that sounds great. Okay, I think that sounds good. Let's try to listen to this drum. So this plugin is basically just a quick reverb plugin. So if you want to add some kind of reverb to your vocals or sample, you can use this plugin. It doesn't have a lot of knobs, just one. So I'll just push it a bit like that. Let me exaggerate this a little bit. I'll take it all the way. Okay, let me bring it back. Okay, I think that's okay. So finally we can listen to the piano. Let's try to listen to the piano. At this point where everything is loud. Okay, so the piano isn't that bad. Let's try to find if we can make it a little bit wide. Let's try to find something. So there's a plugin called TheMg here. It's a plugin by Waves, and Simply going to see if I can find something to do with the piano. Bright piano right here. So you can see how it pops up, like it comes, it's bright and comes to the front of the mix. So depending on how you want it, you might want to use this, or maybe you might want it all the way back into the mix. But I think I like it clean like this, and it's sounds a little bit wide. It sounds great here, though I'm looking for something that's a bit wide. And let's try to see if we can find a preset which is something like wide piano. Yeah, I'll switch off this and listen to this. So for those that just see me load a preset and then just set it there, what's going on here is, for this piano, if you take a look at the low right here, at about 110 Hz, there is a boost up to about 5 dB or so, and then at 200 right here, there's a reduction in frequency. So basically what's happening is this. Let me put this. So at around 110, there's a boost, so it's right here. There's a bit of a boost. Then so this is on the left side. And then we've got something when it comes to the high. We've got, I mean, the boost is on the mid part of the signal right here. And then we've got a little bit of a boost on the high, and we have something being boosted in the mid part of this, just for those that don't really understand what's going on here. So I'm trying to show you this so that you can see that it's an EQ and boosting a number of things here. Because if I had to get this EQ and try to look around for some stuff and see what I can boost, what I cannot boost, I'll take some time. So it's much easier for me if I just load up a plugin like this one right here, and then just start with a preset. If this preset sounds okay, then I'll just leave it there. If it doesn't, then I'll adjust a few things on the plugin. So basically this is what's going on. So I wanted something like a little bit wide when it comes to the piano. I wanted it a bit wide, and I think this gives it that stereo feel. You can see the before, and then this is the after. Yeah, I think it makes sense here. So now let me play it together with what we've already worked on. Okay, let's listen to the other piano here. think I'll leave this just like that. Then we've got a vocal down here. So this is basically something like a vocal chop. So basically these are decisions that you keep asking yourself as you go or as you mix. You can be like, does this sound okay? Does this sound like how you need it to sound or how it should sound? Then you see what you can put and so on. So for this vocal sample, maybe I'll add a little bit of reverb. So the balancing never really finishes, like it never really ends. As you listen to the vocals and as you listen to all the instruments, you can be balancing and bringing down the volume of certain things. So for example, I feel like the piano can go down a bit. So if you take a look at our maximum level right here, I'm now at negative 5.8, which is a little bit more than the negative 6 that our target was at. So what I can do is simply just grab everything and bring down the volume. Alright, I think that sounds good. If you listen to my hi-hats right here, you notice that they are panning from left to right. So they're passing like that. what you can do if you have yours centered is just add a plugin like Auto Panner by Cubase, like this, so that you can automatically pan them left and right. Just click on sync so that it syncs to the tempo. Set it to a quarter note like this, then set the factor to maybe 3, or to make it a little bit faster, like that. Alright, so since this is already panning like that, I'll just remove this. So you keep listening and bringing down the volumes of some of the things that you feel sound a bit louder than they should. So you can keep on listening to. Once you get a good balance, something that you're a little bit satisfied with, you can proceed to your vocals. So I'll switch on my vocals like this. Then the first thing I'll do is just grab all my vocals and bring down the volume of all the vocals down. And what I'll do is click on the first vocal here, then click shift on my keyboard so that I have everything highlighted. Then I'll set a group channel for these. Add group channel to selected channels. Then this is for my lead vocals, like that. Then I can just make sure that they are no longer on mute. Then I'll just solo the one vocal maybe, or just make sure that I'm playing one vocal. Then grab everything and then just play, and make sure that I get a balance so that all of this doesn't go above maybe -3 once I play the vocals.
ABA finals, he switched them off like a light. Cousin Tomboy, simply the best. No Tina Turner, cause your cousin read it from the chest, straight from the heart. When we lost your Tom, it tore us all apart. See you in the sky, flying past as a shooting star. Then you got my cousin's broke, many hearts, life's hard. But you're probably up there having a few pints and a laugh. God bless you, my cuz. In this music, used to show me love. I used to watch you as a pro when you laced up the gloves. 9th of September 2001, when you boxed Tony Booth the first. Cousin Tomboy, simply the best. No Tina Turner, cause your cousin read it from the chest, straight from the heart. When we lost your Tom, it tore us all apart. See you in the sky, flying past as a shooting star. Then you got my cousin's broke, many hearts, life's hard. But you're probably up there having a few pints and a laugh. God bless you, my cuz. In this music, used to show me love. I used to watch you as a pro when you laced up the gloves. 9th of September 2001, when you boxed Tony Booth the first fight that you won.
Alright, so this is a great start for the vocals. So we started with the beat. We balanced all the right at which point.
Best man on Epsom down Douglas and Rihanna, all his children was his life. Yearn, cousin Tom, I can't believe that you're gone. Born #1, that be Creamy's boy Tom. When he stepped in the ring of heart, Junior McDonald. Like big on your mic, the White Tyson. A lover and a fighter, big tormentor. Cruiserweight champion, he won the southern area. The whole of Epsom, they lost a real legend. Best man on Epsom Downs, we're really gonna miss him. Used to see him in Weymouth with the lobsters, he'd be grilling. A big crater sellers that my cousin be chilling. Stepped in the ring of heart of a lion.
Alright, so for example, at the chorus part here,
cousin Tom, I can't believe that you're gone. A legend from Epsom, your name will live on, #1. Yearn, cousin Tom, I can't.
If you want to, it's not important that this vocal chop right here becomes too loud or too dominant at this part here as it is at this part. So you can reduce the volume of this right here just a little bit.
Yearn, cousin Tom, I can't believe that you're gone.
So that the vocal is the vocal pops up and the backing vocals and stuff are just in the background, and this vocal chop right here is not something that you want to be all over the place when the vocal is there, because the main highlight is the vocal, so it needs to pop and be clear out there. So you can be answering these questions as you go and just reduce the volume of some of these things here.
Yearn, cousin Tom, I can't believe that you're gone. A legend from Epsom, your name will live on. Live on, number one, that be Creamy's boy Tom. When he stepped in the ring, a heart of a lion. Tom the bomb used to knock him out, he held up the title belt. Every one of us Eastwood you did, all the family proud. First Eastwood to win a pro title. Time before his fights, never feared any rivals. He was a cruiserweight, iron mic, power like dynamite. ABA finals,
and this is the same when it comes to other instruments. For example, if the kick is too much at a certain point, you can reduce the volume of that a little bit there. So you can just go on and make those adjustments. So today we're not mixing vocals. So if you take a look at this, I haven't added any plugins on the vocals or anything. The focus was on the beat only, and I also wanted to let you know that the balancing of the beat doesn't end right on the beat. Once you start bringing in those vocals, you'll notice that certain instruments will need to be brought down a bit and certain instruments boosted just to balance with the vocals and stuff. Alright guys, I don't know if you picked up one or two things from this video. If you did, then I think that makes sense. So from here you can just go through and balance a few things in your mix. Just take your time, reduce the volumes, boost the volumes of things, listen to some reference tracks, some vocals that are similar, then listen to how the kick sounds in that particular song that you like, that is similar to yours, and just try to achieve that using other plugins like I did here. So you can use your EQ and just try to cut off some of the low end and do whatever it is that you can do to achieve almost the same type of kick that you get in your reference track. So it's important that you also have a reference track. If you're dealing with something like Afro beats, hip hop, just make sure that you know and understand what a kick sounds like in that particular genre, so that you can try to achieve that too. So yeah, basically this is the approach. Alright guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, and if you have any questions, just make sure you comment and ask me all the questions that you'd like to ask me. So for this